Now look, I didn't want to do this video, but now I have to, because I had to put the information out there. Oh, God. KN targets Democrat author of bill to protect child sex offenders. All right. Last year, California Globe reported that State Senator Scott Wiener and Assemblywoman Suzanne Eggman introduced legislation to end blatant discrimination against LGBTQRRS, whatever, young people regarding California's sex offender registry. Weiner and Eggman are members of the California Legislative LGBT caucus. Wow, they own caucus now? Huh, I didn't know that. All right. However, under their bill, the SB 145, the offenders would not have to automatically register as sex offenders if the offenders are within 10 years of age of the minor. What the fuck? So wait a minute. So if they're within the 10 years age, that means that you don't have to register? This is dangerous, especially for people if you're living around them and you don't know that this man is messing with little kids and he might be looking at your daughter or he might be looking at your son. Like you, let's let's get back to the fuckery. According to Weiner last year, SB 145 ends blatant discrimination against young people engaged in voluntary sexual activity by providing courts the discretion to decide its sentencing. What? Okay, let me say this. If you're messing with somebody that's a child, I don't give a damn if they volunteered or not. They're a child. Moving on. If registering the defendant as a sex offender is appropriate, regardless of the sex act they perform, Bill Analyzed reported in August 2019. And then the bill was placed on the suspense file, which means Weiner could not get the bill passed until 2020. However, the bill has been brought back, like I just said, without any new analyzed or new amendments, and was voted on Thursday in the Assembly Appropriations Committee, where it was passed a vote on 6-2. What changed between last August 2019 and August 2020? Of the 247 comments left on the California Globe, several say Senator Weiner has been targeted by QAnon, the anti-sex trafficking activist group. Fox 2 KTVU reported Weiner said believers in the conspiracy theory QAnon are accusing him of pushing to let gay men have sex with minors. I mean, it's not even just gay men, it's gay women. I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's not just gay men, it's gay women. If this, when this bill is passed, but let's keep going. It started a few weeks ago on Instagram with a particular person who was part of the QAnon network, this cult-like pro-Trump network that runs around saying that there's a big conspiracy to protect pedophiles and that prominent leaders are all pedophiles, and it's a big conspiracy. He said it's a very delusional kind of cult at this point. I don't know about that if you happen to where the person is close in age. But anyway, Dave identified this bill and started saying that this is about protecting pedophiles, which is not, and even saying that I'm a pedophile. This kind of slander, not just against me, but against my community, is outrageous. I don't know about outrageous. On your part is outrageous, but I don't know what the. But anyway, and we have to speak out against it, he said. Currently, if a 14 to 7-year-old and a partner who is less than 10 years older have consensual sex, it is illegal. But the law does not require someone convicted in such a case to register as a sex offender if they had vaginal intercourse. It gives a judge discretion. If the case involves oral or anal intercourse, however, the offender must register. Hold on, let me read that one more time. If the case involves oral or anal intercourse, however, the offender must register. Okay. Bill analyzed is more clear than Senator Weiner. The bill states non-forcible sodomy or copulation and sexual penetration with a minor do not require mandatory sex offender registration unless there is a 10-year gap between the minor and the other person. Oh my God, this is. And you see why I stay off the internet. And I try to stay off reading certain things and speaking to certain people just so I don't have to deal with shit like this. But keep going. However, a court may still require registration if it deems appropriate. So we leave it up to y'all hands, in y'all hands. These offenses, when committed without force, where the minor was a willing participant under the age of 14, are sometimes referred to as Hochschild offenses. People versus Hochschild, 2006, 37 California, 4th, 1185, held that requiring mandatory sex offender registration for one such an offense or copulation was unconstitutional if the state did not also require registration for a person convicted non-forcible sexual intercourse with a minor because it made an illegal distinction based on the sex act itself. NOQ reported said mainstream media is focused on the threats, but the effort is also shining a spotlight on the details of the bill itself. Democrats are targeting our children. Look at this California legislation they're trying to sneak through. The LGBTQRSPI, whatever, community should be outraged that their movement is being used as cover to justify child sex normalization. Well, I'll say this. There was a, with the LGBTQRSPI, whatever group, they had a meeting in Chicago. Was it Chicago? I think it was somewhere in Illinois. You can look it up in the 70s where they pretty much they wanted to be able to date kids, grown people dating kids, not just men, women too. They want to be able to date kids. If I find that meeting, I'm gonna make a video about it. Anyway, the SB 145 bill's language says SB 145 as amended, minor sex offenders registration. Existing law, the Sex Offender Registration Act, requires a person convicted of one of certain crimes as specific to register with law enforcement as a sex offender while residing in California or while attending school or working in California as specific. A willful failure to register as required by the Act is a misdemeanor or felony, depending on the underlying offense. The bill would exempt from mandatory registration under the Act a person convicted of certain offenses involving minors if the person is not more than 10 years older than the minor. And if that offense is the only one requiring the person to register. Okay, this is some bullshit. I'm sorry. This is some bullshit. So if I'm within the 10-year range, I'm cool. I mean, I don't get nothing to say. This is sickening. And the fact that these weirdos like this guy right here, this is Senator this Scott D. Weiner. I mean, his name tells you what type of person he is. But this is him. I'm out.